I really hope you're not making this super expensive mistake when it comes to shoulder pain. If you're not getting your shoulder actually assessed, if you're just kind of throwing things at the wall, hoping that they stick, you're saving a bunch of these shoulder tips, these latest and greatest exercises for your shoulder pain without actually doing a proper assessment, you're making a very expensive mistake because if you're just managing symptoms, if you're not actually addressing the root cause and the underlying issue, chances are you're missing what's actually causing the pain. Therefore, it's going to keep coming back. You're going to keep trying peptides, cortisone shots, imaging, and nothing is going to help and nothing is going to show up on those images because the root cause of your pain is somewhere else, not in your shoulder. So, most lifters jump into generic warm-ups, cookie cutter rehab, but again, that is where lifters fail, and that's where you're making a very expensive mistake. Now, before we dive into this any farther, make sure you like, subscribe. We're trying to put out as much content as we can, so I don't want you to miss it because honestly, even just one of these videos could be game changing for you, for your pain, so that you can hit pain-free PRs. When I am talking to a lifter, they've tried BPC, they've tried cortisone, they've gotten imaging, they've tried generic PT, they've tried all these exercises that they found online. You name it, they've tried it. There's dry needling, cupping. Like, I can go on and on and on. But the point is, they try so many different solutions. But when it comes to actually dealing with the pain, they haven't even done a proper assessment. Most of the time, traditional therapy, rehab, chiropractor, whatever, they're not taught how to work with lifters. And the reason why so many lifters deal with pain is one, because the traditional advice of if it hurts, just stop. Hey, lifting is dangerous. Like, it just doesn't fly. Like, you're not going to tell me that. I'm going to still lift. So, like, it's just crazy. Anyway. So then the third thing is we see so many times where, if someone is doing a snatch, someone is doing some kind of pressing motion, they're doing bench. If we look at shoulder pain in a general population, Aunt Betty down the street who only ever carries her cat litter in, yeah, like her shoulder pain might be actually shoulder pain. But for you as a lifter, because lifting is so dynamic, if you have shoulder pain, it could be coming from something else, right? It could be coming from your shoulder blade. It could be coming from your thoracic spine. More on that here. It could be coming from a variety of things, but I've seen something as crazy as it coming from ankle mobility, not being able to like move your ankle as well. Your hip internal rotation, if you're stuck, those things impact your shoulder because it's such an upstream effect. And so if you're not getting a full assessment done, chances are you're missing the root cause. And that is causing you to try all these expensive things, basically waste money, throw it down the drain, burn it, whatever, time, energy, frustration, and honestly, before too long, you start to believe that you're broken and that nobody can fix it, when in reality, they just haven't even been looking in the right spot. And so you want to make sure that doing an assessment is top priority because that is going to set the stage for you building your roadmap to get out of pain. It's like trying to take a trip, right? And you want to go pick a place, Florida, North Carolina, the West Coast. I don't care. You know that you want to take this trip, but you can't get directions if you don't have your starting point. Okay, so we want to make sure that we have the correct starting point so that when we put in our destination, where we want to go, our goals, we know, hey, we can build a roadmap from here to here, and it's step by step, right? But if you don't have that starting point, and if it's not specific to your location, those turn by turn directions are going to completely screw you and leave you in who knows where. So we want to make sure that we're getting a good idea of what's actually going on so we know our starting spot, because from there we can build out, we can hit your goals. We just want to make sure that we're doing it in a step by step, turn by turn fashion, right? Like just having a call and having a conversation about what's going on, what you've tried, how other movements feel, right? Digging in. Hey, I noticed overhead press hurts. Okay. What about squat? How does barbell back squat feel for you? If you're a CrossFit or Olympic weightlifter, how does front squat or overhead squat feel? Okay. How does snatch feel? How does a power snatch feel? Like, all of these questions are very important because it helps clue us in. It gives us more pieces to the puzzle. And so it helps us formulate, hey, okay, so I'm overhead pressing, ouch, it hurts. Okay. I also notice I'm really tight on that side. Oh, and I have a little bit of a hip shift going to the opposite side when I'm squatting. Okay. So to me, that clues us in. Yeah, we need to look at a few different things with the shoulder, right? But we also need to see what's going on in the ankle and the hip on both sides to make sure we're not missing something. Because even in something like a squat, if one side is tight, it can really make you crank the arm on the other side to like try to stabilize, to try to hit depth. Okay. And so it's very important to make sure that you get the proper starting spot so that you can make those turn by turn adjustments to your rehab, to your training, and get those goals that you're chasing, right? I don't know about you, but most people are chasing longevity, health, pain free PRs, right? They want to do all these things, but it feels impossible and it leads to so much frustration because we don't even know where we're starting. And so make sure you are doing those assessments. Now, the assessment is the first piece of my program, right? The P3 method. We are pinpointing the root cause. This is what we hop on a call, we dig out all of this information to see what's going on so that we can get a crystal clear picture so that we know exactly what to assess, right? We like to zoom out so we can zoom in. And that is the only way to make sure that we know that starting spot. So if you want to get going on something to figure out what your root issue is, DM me root cause on Instagram. You can drop it down below. We're going to get you set up with a root cause assessment. That is going to help you figure out exactly what's going on, give you a few things that you can work on. If it's something that I feel like you're a good fit for my program, we can talk about what that is. But the biggest part of this is making sure we know exactly what's going on. So again, make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things. Reach out to me if you have questions, if you have comments, but don't make that most expensive mistake that most lifters do, and that you're just guessing, you're not assessing. Assess, don't guess. Okay? All right. See you on the next one.